In a city where no one looks twice at a crying child on the street, a stormy night changed two lives forever. Thunder cracked the sky open like a scream, but it wasn't the storm that drew John's attention. It was the tiny figure huddled under the crumbling shelter of an abandoned bus stop, soaked to the bone, eyes wide with fear, and silent. John, a quiet black man in his 40s, had been walking home from a long shift at the mechanic shop. He didn't have much: a small apartment, a second-hand coat, and a tired heart that had been let down more times than he could count. But when he saw that little boy, mute and trembling, something in him refused to walk past. He didn't know the boy's name. He didn't know his story. He only knew one thing: if he left him there, no one else would come. What followed wasn't a miracle. It wasn't flashy or poetic. It was hard. It was real. It was the slow, stubborn kindness of one man who had every reason to turn his back and chose not to. And what happened years later? Well, no one saw that coming, because the boy who couldn't speak came back. And when he did, he spoke through actions louder than any voice. John's apartment was small, a second-floor unit with creaky floors, water stains on the ceiling, and a heater that coughed more than it warmed. But it had something most places didn't: safety. The boy who couldn't say a word clung to that warmth like it was oxygen. John named him Sam, short, simple, like the boy's quiet presence. At first, Sam wouldn't even look at him, but John never pressured him. He gave him food, warm clothes, a blanket, and silence, and not the cold kind the streets offered, but the kind that gave space to breathe. It took months. Little by little, Sam started to trust. He'd wash dishes next to John. He'd sit quietly at the table while John read the newspaper aloud. They had a system. John spoke, and Sam listened with eyes that absorbed everything. People called John crazy. "You can't just take in a homeless kid," they'd say. But John didn't care. He remembered his own childhood, the nights spent waiting for a father who never came back, the days of hunger, the sting of being forgotten. He couldn't let this boy suffer the same way. But after nearly a year, Child Protective Services came. Someone had tipped them off. They took Sam away. John didn't fight, not because he didn't care, but because the world never made space for men like him to win those fights. He just whispered to the boy as they led him away, "You got this far. Don't stop now." Sam looked back. His eyes said everything his mouth couldn't. Years passed. Life went on. John never heard about Sam again. He worked, aged, moved to a smaller place when rent went up. His hands grew stiff from years of fixing engines, and his hair grayed faster than it should have. But every birthday he still left a small cake on the window ledge, just in case. One morning, now in his 60s, John arrived at the garage to find a brand new black car parked outside, sleek, spotless, and clearly not from the neighborhood. He barely had time to ask whose it was before the shop owner handed him an envelope. "Guy came in early this morning. Said to give this to you." John opened it with oil-stained fingers. Inside was a simple letter: "You saved me when I had nothing. No one listened, but you did. You gave without asking, and I never forgot. I speak now, because of you. Come outside. Let me give back what you gave me." Tears blurred his vision. When he stepped outside, the driver's door of the black car opened, and out came Sam, taller, stronger, dressed in a suit and with a voice full of warmth. "Hey, John," he said. "I found you." Sam had become a software engineer, adopted later by a foster family who supported his therapy, helped him learn to speak, and sent him to college. But the seed of hope, the reason he fought to be better, and had always been John. He bought John a house, modest but warm, filled with light and space and peace. He took him to the doctor. He helped him retire. But more than that, he came by every week. He brought dinner, laughed with him, listened. Because the man who once gave everything with nothing was now being given everything he never asked for. In a world quick to walk past pain, it takes one heart to stop and change everything. John never asked for recognition. He only gave. But in the end, love found its way back. Not through applause or headlines, but in the quiet return of a boy who once had no voice, and used it to say, "Thank you."